Welcome to another episode of the Bark Brigade podcast by Dogazilla magazine.
Thanks so much for having me back.
Okay, so picture this. You are sitting on your living room rug right now, and your dog is just sitting there. They are panting, their tongue is hanging out, and they are giving you this ridiculous, just wide-eyed, goofy grin.
Oh, yeah. The classic derp face. We all know it.
Right, and you chuckle. You think they're just being silly or maybe a little derpy, like you said.
Totally.
But what if that specific silly face is actually like a piece of highly advanced biological technology?
It sounds crazy when you say it like that, but yes.
I mean, what if you were looking at an absolute masterclass in neurochemical hacking?
Yeah, an intricate system of nonverbal communication.
Exactly. Something actively refined over tens of thousands of years, specifically designed to bypass your logical brain and literally force you to smile.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So today, our mission is to embark on a deep dive into an amazing article by Simon Tracy.
Yes. Dogs making funny faces. Charming, quirky behaviors.
Right. We are going to explore the evolutionary history, the hard neurobiology, and the behavioral psychology behind those quirky canine expressions.
This is going to be a fun one.
We are unpacking how your dog's face basically became the ultimate tool for cross-species survival.
Yeah, and it really requires a paradigm shift in how we view our companions.
How so?
Well, our instinct is to just dismiss a head tilt or a droopy-eyed pout as this charming accident, you know?
Right, like they just happen to look cute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you synthesize the evolutionary biology and the history of domestication from the sources we have, you uncover this incredibly advanced nonverbal communication network.
Wow.
Dogs have literally co-evolved with humans.
So it wasn't an accident?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Their facial expressions were physically and neurologically sculpted by the absolute necessity to connect with us.
To get us to take care of them.
Exactly. To elicit resources from us and to secure a place by our ancestral fires. I mean, this is a language millennia in the making.
Okay, let's unpack this. It is like our dogs spent thousands of years studying us just to learn how to make us smile.
That is a perfect way to phrase it, actually.
I mean, to really grasp why they make these faces, we have to rewind the clock, right? Back to the very beginnings of domestication.
No, we do. The capability of a dog to communicate via facial microexpressions, it's tied completely to their divergence from wolves.
Right, because wolves don't really do that.
No, they don't. Dogs had to adapt to an entirely new environment. And that environment was, well, us.
Human beings.
Right. If we look at the origins of the human-canine relationship,
Yeah.
we're observing this really unique biological convergence.
Okay.
Because wolves, they communicate within their packs using very subtle full-body signals, and those are designed for other wolves.
Makes sense.
But humans, we are deeply primate in our communication style.
Oh, meaning we focus on the face.
Exactly. We are highly visual, face-centric creatures. We rely on these microscopic shifts in facial muscles to gauge intent and empathy and threat.
Okay, so the proto-dogs that hung around early humans.
Yes, the ones that successfully integrated into early human settlements were the ones whose physical mutations allowed them to mimic or trigger human emotional responses.
Wow.
They essentially developed an expressive vocabulary that resonated directly with our primate brains.
So the evolutionary advantage went directly to the dog that could produce a face we could instantly read and relate to.
Without question. I mean, this exploits a fundamental human psychological trait, which is anthropomorphism.
Oh, right. Where we put human traits on animals.
Right. We are hardwired with a theory of mind that desperately wants to attribute human intentions and human emotions to non-human entities.
So when a dog pulls its lips back in a relaxed pan.
Or, raises an eyebrow.
Right.
Our brain immediately maps our own emotional vocabulary onto that physical movement.
We see a smile.
Yes, we perceive a smile or we see a guilty look.
And that anthropomorphism acts as the mechanism that amplifies the bond.
Exactly. It creates this joyful emotional rapport where the human feels seen and understood by the animal.
And that rapport changes everything. I mean, it is the difference between owning an animal and having a real companion.
Absolutely.
Think about it. You come home exhausted, the world is heavy, and your dog shoots you this bewildered, tilted head look.
And your mood instantly shifts.
You laugh. That shared experience isn't just noise. It is a dialogue denoting joy, excitement, or confusion.
It shifts the entire dynamic in a home.
But if we want to actually decode this facial language accurately, we can't just look at the face in a vacuum, right?
No. Not at all. That is a huge mistake people make.
We have to contextualize it within the entire physical sentence of their body language.
Yes, precisely.
And I guess that starts with the most famous canine communicator, the tail.
Oh, the tail is arguably the most misinterpreted appendage in the animal kingdom.
Wait, really?
Oh, absolutely. A wagging tail does not universally equate to a happy dog.
I feel like that is going to blow some people's minds.
It is a really dangerous misconception, honestly.
Yeah.
The tail serves as an emotional barometer.
Yeah.
And the critical factors you have to look at are altitude, velocity, and lateral bias.
So a high, rapid wag.
That indicates high arousal. Now, that could be joy, like when you get home from work.
Right.
But it could also be overstimulation or even agitation.
And a slow wag.
A slow wag, particularly when the tail is tucked or held low below the spine, that is a strong indicator of insecurity, submission, or even impending defensive aggression.
Okay, that makes sense. But the mechanics of it are incredibly precise. In this deep dive, reading the source material, I was completely blown away by the lateral bias.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
The idea that dogs wag their tails to the right when they feel positive and to the left when they feel negative. How does that even work on a physiological level?
So the mechanism at play here is lateralization of brain function.
Which humans share, right?
We do, yeah. The left hemisphere of a dog's brain is associated with positive, approach-oriented emotions.
Like seeing their owner or getting a favorite toy.
Exactly. And because the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body, the tail naturally biases to the right.
Oh, wow.
Conversely, the right hemisphere processes negative, withdrawal-oriented emotions.
So like fear. Or encountering a dominant, unfamiliar dog.
Right. And that neural activity manifests as a left-leaning wag.
That is just brilliant. It is like a visible readout of their internal neurochemistry.
It really is.
So we have this highly sophisticated emotional metronome attached to their spine. And then we have the ears.
Yes, the ears are crucial.
Correct. Forward-pointing ears acting like satellite dishes for curiosity, right? And then pin-back ears signaling fear or submission. You have to synthesize all this data at once.
You do. I mean, if you observe pin-back ears coupled with a low, slow, left-leaning tail wag, you are looking at an animal experiencing severe stress.
Even if their face looks, well, quote-unquote, smiley.
Exactly. If you only look at their face, which might be pulled back in a tight grimace that a human incorrectly reads as a submissive smile, you might approach them.
And entirely miss the warning.
Completely miss it. Context is everything.
Which brings us right to the face itself. Because the mouth is a massive indicator.
A huge indicator.
A relaxed jaw with a slightly open mouth is the classic look of contentment.
Yes, the relaxed pant.
But a tight jaw, rigid cheek muscles, and exposed teeth obviously shift the meaning entirely.
Entirely.
And we see these facial cues combined with full body postures, right? Like the play bow.
Oh, the play bow is a fascinating ethological phenomenon.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's when the dog lowers its front legs, chest to the ground, while keeping its rear elevated, right?
Exactly. In behavioral science, this is known as a metacommunication.
A metacommunication, what does that mean?
It acts like a punctuation mark. It essentially puts quotation marks around whatever happens next.
Oh, interesting.
It tells the other dog or the human, hey, whatever roughhousing or biting I do next is strictly play, not aggression.
So it frames the whole interaction.
Yes. And when you pair that bow with a relaxed jaw, soft eyes, and an open mouth, the communication of joyful intent is just absolute.
But wait, if they are utilizing this massive array of tools, the left-right tail wag, the, 18 muscles in the ear, the spinal posture, the tension in the jaw, is the funny face just a single word in a larger sentence?
That is a great way to look at it.
Like, does the exact same goofy facial expression mean something totally different if the tail is tucked versus if the tail is high?
That is the precise way to understand it.
Yeah.
The face is a modifier.
Okay.
Consider the eyes. Soft, almond-shaped, relaxed eyes signal deep comfort.
Right.
But wide, staring eyes where you can see the whites, which is often called whale eye.
Oh, yeah, whale eye.
That indicates fear, stress, or direct challenge.
Okay, so if a dog has wide, sparing eyes alongside a tight jaw and a stiff, immobile tail...
Then that wide-eyed funny face is actually a precursor to a bite.
Yikes.
But if those exact same wide eyes are paired with a play bow and a frantic right-biased tail wag...
Then it translates as manic, goofy exhilaration.
Exactly. The eyes change the entire translation based on the rest of the body.
Wow. And understanding the mechanics of how they physically speak to us leads directly into the core of what is happening inside their brains.
Right, the internal triggers for these physical movements.
Yes. We are stepping out of body language and into the hard science of canine emotions.
And this is where the science has really evolved recently.
Because for a long time, the scientific community was really hesitant to attribute complex emotions to dogs, right?
Yeah, very hesitant. They feared it was just anthropomorphism.
But modern neuroimaging has kind of flipped that on its head.
Completely dismantled that hesitation. Specifically, fMRI studies on awake, unrestrained dogs.
Which is amazing that they can even get dogs to sit still in an MRI.
It takes a lot of training, but it is worth it because it proves dogs have a remarkably complex emotional landscape.
Like the caudate nucleus, right?
Yes, the caudate nucleus in their brains, which is the region rich in dopamine receptors associated with reward and positive emotion. It lights up in response to the scent of their owners.
Wow.
In the exact same way a human brain lights up when we see someone we love.
That is incredibly validating for anyone who has ever owned a dog.
I know, right?
When you walk through the door and they completely lose their minds with joy, jumping and wagging, that isn't just a food-seeking reflex.
Not at all. It is authentic neurological love.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The physical evolution that occurred to actually express those emotions to us, the ultimate biological hack, the big puppy eyes.
Oh, yes. The puppy dog eyes phenomenon is perhaps the most significant evolutionary adaptation in the history of domestication.
I was blown away reading the source article on this.
Anatomists discovered that domesticated dogs possess a specific facial muscle.
What's it called again?
It's called the levator angulio-oculi medialis, or LAOM.
LAOM. And what exactly does it do?
This muscle is responsible for intensely raising the inner eyebrow. And what is just staggering is that wolves, the direct ancestors of dogs, essentially do not have this muscle.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously. It is either completely absent or vastly underdeveloped in wolves.
So dogs literally grew a brand new muscle in their face specifically for us?
Yes. Over millennia, humans unconsciously favored and bred dogs that possessed this muscle mutation.
Because raising that inner eyebrow creates a wider, more vulnerable look.
Exactly. It makes them look more infant-like.
Yeah.
And that triggers a massive caregiving response in the human primate brain.
It is absolute biological hacking. They look at us, raise that inner eyebrow, and our brains just dump oxytocin into our bloodstream.
The maternal bonding hormone.
Right. We feel a surge of affection, we forgive them for chewing up the couch, and we hand them a treat.
It works every time.
And the craziest part is studies show that when they look at us, our oxytocin spikes.
Their oxytocin spikes too.
It's a mutual neurochemical feedback loop.
Yes. And that mutual gaze loop is unique in the animal kingdom.
Really?
Yeah. Not even chimpanzees, our closest relatives, utilize eye contact to initiate an oxytocin loop with humans.
Wow, that is wild.
This proves that these funny, endearing faces aren't just parlor tricks. They're deeply relational.
So they are genuine reflections of their feelings.
It confirms that the funny faces dogs make are genuine, physiological reflections of their internal emotional states.
So when a dog tilts its head with curved ears, the curiosity is genuine.
Yes.
When they are tearing around the yard with that wide-open grin, the joy is genuine. We aren't just projecting onto a blank slate.
Not at all. They have a rich, intricate emotional world.
And knowing that, observing how genuine those emotions are, makes you look at their daily routines completely differently.
It really does add a layer of depth to living with them.
Right. The scenarios where these faces peak are so common, yet so complex when you actually know the science behind them.
Playtime is probably the most obvious catalyst.
Oh, for sure.
The state of high arousal during play fundamentally alters their physical presentation.
If you've ever thrown a tennis ball for a dog, you know exactly what this looks like.
The fetch face.
Yes. They sprint after it, scoop it up, and as they come bounding back toward you, they look utterly unhinged in the best way possible. Their eyes are massive, their ears are pinned back by the wind, and their mouth is stretched so wide it looks like a cartoon grin.
Well, from a physiological standpoint, that grin serves a dual purpose.
Okay, what is the other purpose besides looking happy?
Yes, it is the physical embodiment of exhilaration, but the mouth is thrown wide open to maximize oxygen intake for the sprinting muscles.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the eyes are widened not just in joy, but to increase the peripheral field of vision.
To track the moving toy.
Exactly, to track the toy and your corresponding movements. The resulting comical expression is really a byproduct of their biology, operating at peak physical and emotional capacity.
It is form-meeting function in the funniest way possible.
It really is.
Now, the second scenario where we see these faces peak is completely different. Their reaction to new sights or smells.
Ah, yes. Dogs are exploratory machines.
They really are. When they encounter something weird like a strange shadow or a bug on the floor, or you making a bizarre high-pitched noise.
They hit you with the ultimate funny face.
The intense head tilt?
The head tilt is a masterpiece of sensory processing.
Is it? I always just thought it meant they were confused.
Well, it is not an attempt to look endearing, though that is the secondary effect.
Right.
When a dog hears an ambiguous or novel sound, they tilt their head to manipulate their sensory antennas.
Oh, their ears.
Right. By shifting the angle of their ears, they change the time it takes for a sound wave to hit one ear versus the other.
Wow.
It's a concept known as interval time difference.
Wait, so they are literally triangulating the audio.
Precisely. It allows their brain to pinpoint the exact vertical and horizontal location of the sound.
That is brilliant. They look so confused, but they are actually just processing data at light speed.
And there's a visual component to the head tilt as well.
Yeah.
Yes. A dog's muzzle actually blocks the lower portion of their frontal vision.
Oh, like having a nose right between your eyes.
Exactly. So by tilting their head, they're moving their nose out of the way so they can clearly see your mouth and lower face.
To better read our emotional reaction to whatever strange thing is happening.
Exactly. That bewildered, adorable head tilt is actually a state of intense, hyper-focused sensory calculation.
Wow. Okay, so we have peak arousal during play and peak focus during the head tilt. Let's contrast that with the third scenario. Deep relaxation.
Yes. When a dog is completely at rest in their own home.
The physiology here shifts entirely, right?
It does. It shifts from the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, or play response, into the parasympathetic nervous system.
The rest and digest state.
Exactly.
You see them sprawled out in a sunbeam on the rug. The tension entirely leaves their body.
Their facial muscles go completely slack.
The jaw drops, and because there is no tension holding it in, the tongue just lolls out the side of their mouth onto the floor.
And their eyes roll back a little bit.
It's hilariously ungraceful. This is the canine equivalent of unbuttoning your pants after a huge Thanksgiving dinner.
That is a very accurate analogy.
It's total unguarded comfort.
And that lack of muscular tension is a profound indicator of environmental security.
Because in the wild, they wouldn't do that.
Right. In the wild, an animal must maintain a baseline level of muscular readiness to respond to threats.
To run or fight.
Exactly. So when a dog allows its facial muscles to go completely flaccid, exposing its belly, letting its tongue hang out,
it is communicating an absolute absence of fear.
biologically it signifies complete trust in you and the environment you provide.
That is actually really beautiful. We get to witness this silent dialogue constantly. The dog experiences an emotion, makes a face, and we react.
It is a constant loop.
Yeah, this emotional mirroring is an incredible closed-loop system.
Yeah.
We feel joy, they read our micro-expressions and feel joy, they express it through a goofy face.
Which makes us laugh.
Which makes them happier. It's a perpetual engine of affection.
It really is a dynamic system.
But from a human psychology standpoint, why do we actually find it funny?
That is a great question.
Objectively, it's just a canine manipulating muscle tissue. Why does a dog giving us side-eye make us laugh out loud?
The psychology of humor relies heavily on the incongruity theory.
Okay, what is that?
Humor arises when our brains encounter something that violates our expectations but turns out to be harmless.
Oh, like a benign violation.
Exactly. We have a baseline expectation of how a dog should look, right? Alert, neutral, dog-like.
Sure.
So when a dog exhibits exaggerated, almost cartoonish expressions, eyes rolling, lips caught on their teeth, a wildly tilted head, it is structurally incongruous.
And because of that anthropomorphism we talked about earlier, the incongruity is magnified.
Precise.
Like if my dog glances at me without turning his head, just giving me the whites of his eyes, the classic side eye, I immediately project human judgment onto him.
You give him human motives.
Right. The incongruity of a golden retriever acting like a passive-aggressive roommate is objectively hilarious.
It is the intersection of their physical flexibility and our cognitive biases.
Wow.
However, there is an additional layer of behavioral science at play here, which is operant conditioning.
Training.
Right. When a dog naturally performs an incongruous, funny face, and the human responds with explosive laughter, petting, and maybe a high-value treat.
The dog learns very quickly.
Yes. Positive reinforcement dictates that behaviors followed by favorable outcomes are highly likely to be repeated.
But wait, this brings up a massive question for me.
Sure.
If I laugh and toss my dog a piece of cheese every time he does a goofy head tilt, Is he genuinely feeling curious and goofy, or is he just doing a bit?
That is the big debate.
Has he trained me? Is it an authentic emotion or just a transactional performance?
That is a highly sophisticated distinction to
Yeah.
make. The reality is that it transitions from one to the other and often exists as both simultaneously.
Oh, okay. So it's not just one or the other.
Right. The initial head tilt was an authentic, sensory-driven response to a novel stimulus.
Like a weird noise.
Yes. But once the dog recognizes the human's positive reaction, the behavior can become instrumental.
They realize it works.
They might not be feeling the human concept of comedic goofiness, but they are absolutely feeling the positive anticipation of a reward.
And the joy of successful social engagement.
Exactly. They have learned that a specific muscular movement manipulates their environment favorably.
They literally realize, oh, if I use a Leon muscle, the human dispenses serotonin and cheese.
Exactly. But we shouldn't view that as cynical manipulation.
Yeah.
Not at all. In the dynamics of cross-species affection, shared positive experiences are the foundation of the bond.
Because it feels good for both of us.
Whether the dog is acting out of pure spontaneous joy or learned social behavior, the outcome is the same. The human laughs, the dog feels secure, and the emotional connection is fortified.
So humor, even in this asymmetrical form, is an evolutionary pillar of companionship.
It is a significant component in the dynamics of affection.
So we understand the evolutionary why, the neurochemical how, and the psychological impact. But we have to address the physical hardware.
The anatomy.
Right, because some dogs are just objectively funnier looking than others. They are undeniable masters of physical comedy based purely on their anatomy.
They are.
What is making these specific dogs so expressive? Like, why are their faces so special?
This requires a look into selective breeding and morphological traits, specifically neoteny and brachycephaly.
Okay, those are big words. Let's define neoteny first.
Neoteny is the retention of juvenile physical traits into adulthood.
So they look like puppies forever.
Basically, yes. And brachycephaly refers to the shortened skull and muzzle found in breeds like pugs, bulldogs, and French bulldogs.
Ah, the famous sad puppy face.
Yes.
You look at a basset hound or a pug, and their default resting facial expression is just a comedy of errors.
It really is.
A bulldog perpetually looks like a grumpy old man who just got handed a confusing tax bill. It's not even an action they're taking, it's just their face.
Right, because the breeding of these dogs has profoundly altered their soft tissue and bone structure. Because they have shortened muzzles, loose skin folds, and prominent forward-facing eyes, their facial topography naturally mimics human expressions of bewilderment, melancholy, or surprise.
Wow, so their resting face is literally a human emotion.
The droopy jowls of a basset hound passively recreate the downward curve of a human frown. Their anatomy operates as a permanent optical illusion for the human brain.
And it's not just the static structure, right?
You know, it's dynamic, too.
Because they possess the exact same specialized facial muscles we discussed earlier, but because of the loose skin, every movement is amplified.
Oh, absolutely amplified.
Like if a pug uses its LOM muscle to raise its inner eyebrow, the entire forehead wrinkles in this incredibly dramatic, expressive way.
The physical context just magnifies the emotional read.
It's so humorous and expressive.
The morphological exaggeration ensures that their nonverbal signals are completely unmissable.
Did we do that on purpose?
Scientists theorize that humans unconsciously selected for these traits because they constantly stimulated our caregiving instincts.
So we bred them to be needier looking.
We bred them to visually broadcast their dependence and their emotions.
That is fascinating.
When these dogs are engaged in play, their loose features bounce and stretch, creating visual representations of carefree behavior that are irresistible to the human eye.
So what does this all mean?
Bro.
I mean, it means your dog's goofy grin isn't a random quirk. It is the culmination of structural genetics, sophisticated muscle mechanics, neurochemical oxytocin loops, and millennia of behavioral adaptation.
All working in concert.
All working together to keep you emotionally attached to them. It is the most beautiful symbiotic survival strategy on the planet.
It really is a marvel of evolution.
But armed with the science, the anatomy, and the history, how should we actually apply this knowledge to our daily lives?
The application of this knowledge is profound, really.
How so?
When you understand the mechanics, you can lean into the mystery of your dog's humor and emotional life with a completely new level of empathy.
You no longer just see a cute face.
No, you see data. You see communication.
You become fluent in their language.
Exactly. Being in tune to the tension in their jaw or the bias in their tail wag, or the specific tilt of their head,
Mm.
allows you to meet their needs with incredible precision.
Right. If you see the whale eye and the stiff posture, you don't push them. You realize they're stressed and you relieve that stress.
But if you see the relaxed jaw on the playbow, you engage.
Because reading their funny faces accurately allows us to provide an environment where they feel completely safe and understood.
And that leads to a vastly elevated quality of life for both the canine and the human.
I couldn't agree more.
I urge anyone listening to reframe how they view these moments.
Yeah.
Every bizarre grimace, every tongue-lolling nap, every manic, wide-eyed sprint is a testament to your dog's unique individuality and their trust in you.
They are utilizing tools forged in the Ice Age to communicate with you in your modern living room.
It is incredible when you frame it like that.
It makes those charming, quirky behaviors feel momentous.
It really does.
The fleeting moments, the laugh you get when your dog tastes a lemon and contorts their face, or the pure joy they exude when greeting you at the door, these aren't just trivial parts of your day.
They're the essence of canine companionship.
They bring levity to the mundane, and they remind us that we are capable of bridging the gap between species through simple, shared joy.
Beautifully said.
So the next time your dog looks at you and makes a completely ridiculous face, don't just laugh it off. Recognize the gravity of it. You are the recipient of a beautiful, multi-millennium story of friendship and evolution.
And if we connect this evolutionary timeline to the bigger picture, it leaves us with a truly fascinating hypothesis to ponder.
I like where this is going. What is the hypothesis?
We've established that thousands of years of human-canine coevolution gave dogs specific facial muscles and behavioral quirks designed to hack human attention through analog face-to-face interaction.
Right, they had to look us in the eye.
But human behavior is currently undergoing a radical shift.
We're always on our phones.
Exactly. As dogs spend more and more time observing us, staring down at screens, engaging with phones and augmented reality, our faces are becoming less available to them.
Oh, wow. That is true.
So will their communication strategies be forced to adapt again?
That is a crazy thought.
Over the next few centuries, will dogs develop entirely new muscular movements, new vocalizations, or new physical behaviors specifically engineered to break our digital trance and pull our eyes back to them?
Wow.
Because the biological imperative to connect with us hasn't stopped. The silent dialogue is still evolving.
That is something to think about next time you are scrolling on your phone and your dog drops a toy in your lap. Thank you for listening, dear Brigadiers, and if you have any questions, visit the source article on Dogazilla magazine at dogazilla.com. That was all for this episode, and until the next time, bye to all listeners of the Bark Brigade podcast.